So today we're going to be going over the Draft Decoder website. It's just going to be an overview to give you an idea of what the tools that we have to offer. So let's dive in. So first we're going to look at our league dashboard. After you've signed in, if you go to settings, what's going to happen is you're going to start connecting your platforms. So if you have Yahoo, it's going to connect Yahoo and Sleeper or ESPN. If you're using ESPN, I would recommend getting our Chrome extension because ESPN is goofy and you need to put in cookies and things like that for it to load up, and it's annoying. So, but the Chrome extension does all that for you and you don't have to think about it. So after you sign up your platforms, you can go back to our league page and it's going to populate your league page. It's going to have a ticker up top for rankings. That's our consensus rankings. It'll have all your leagues. It'll have win percentage and your career. It'll also have your trophy room, which is kind of fun. If you notice, I have a Bears logo in the background. You can go to your settings and you can change your favorite NFL teams. So if you are a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you just go back and there you go. Now we are rocking some Kansas City Chiefs logo and colors, but we're not going to do that because we are Bears fans. Okay. So let's do that. We're going to go back to this, but that's a cool feature to be able to put in what NFL team that you want to see. So let's go into click on a draft. And this is an important distinction, is how are we going to draft? So if we are drafting live, let's say Sleeper is in a draft right now, what you want to do is you want to go enter live draft. If your league is drafting offline, you want to go to the offline draft board. And if you want to just mock draft, then you would head to this one. So let's click on a mock draft, and we're going to say, I want pick 2, and we'll start a mock draft. Okay, you see the mock draft is pulled up. Now, the fun thing about this mock draft is what it's going to do is if your league has any history at all, it's going to detect some manager tendencies, and it's going to give you things like a fall percentage, and that's based on the ADP of the player, and also it's based on what your other managers tend to do. So I have the second pick. Let's just go through these different drop downs. If you're a pro member, this is the screen you're going to see. If you're a free tier member, you're not going to see a lot of these features. You're just going to be able to draft. It's going to give you basic ADP, but I'll have a free tier video in the future, but this is for pro members. So let's move over to our rankings drop down. We can change the rankings based on the different platforms that we have. Right now it's consensus. So it's taking all of the platforms and combining them into one solid rankings. But if I really like Sleeper's rankings, I can now do all my rankings based on Sleeper, and that's going to then populate our scores and our value over replacement. All that stuff is going to be based on Sleeper's rankings. We're going to keep this at consensus. There's also different views. So let's move over to our views. Right now we're on ticker view. This is the view I find most helpful, but we'll go through all of them. We have split board, so it's going to show you the whole board, but you can also expand or contract this based on that, and then you're going to see we can move our roster up or down. We can show our roster and we can expand or contract it. That's split board. Full board, if you want to just look at the whole board, there you go. If you only want the tools, no ticker on the top, you can also have that. I like ticker. It's the default. So let's keep moving along. This is your start the draft, and there'll be undo, save. Basically what save's going to do is if you're in the third round and you want to try some different outcomes, you can save that round and it will automatically go back and you can try different draft strategies at different rounds, which is, I think, is a cool tool. Ranks. Okay, so this is going to pop out all of our different comparison tools. What we have here is our ranks and projections. It's going to give us everybody's consensus ranks, Yahoo Sleepers, ESPN's, and Fantasy Pros separately. We can sort by position, and we can also then sort by the different platforms. And then we can also do projections. We can show you the consensus projection, which is all of the projections. We have those weighted. It's not a straight average, but you can see Yahoo projections, Sleepers projections, ESPN's projections, Fantasy Pros projections, and Vegas's projections. We'll get into this more in the future, but we're just going to kind of go over this quickly. Okay, so let's move on to our player database. In the player database, it just has an enormous amount of statistical categories that you could sort by. So if you want to sort QBs, you can sort by age or ADP, their VORP, games, fantasy points, and then if you go into columns, we have a column for passing stats. And so you can collect any one of these passing stats, big time throws, passing EPA, turnover worthy play percentage, and it's going to add those to the list here. And then you can range filter any of these that are on here to sort them. So if we want our ADP to come down, we want to sort from the top 50 ADP, we can do that. It's a pretty great tool if you want to just sort by data. Very helpful. We have a stat glossary over here. It's just going to tell you what every stat is. I find that very helpful. And you can view by default ranks, prospect evaluation, and advanced receiving. You could also include historical players. Okay, let's move on to our Market Lab. All right, what our Market Lab is doing is it's evaluating player breakouts. So year 2, year 3 breakouts. So what it's doing is it's looking at previous breakout players and the stats in their NFL first year or second year that correlated most with them breaking out in year 2 or year 3. After it determines those stats, it then compares our year 2 or 3 players and gives them an adjusted breakout score or probability. And so you can see this list here. We've got Ashton Genty as the top. He's in year 2. Brock Bowers year 3. So it's just going to give you an idea of who's going to possibly break out this year, which is very helpful if you are trying to win your fantasy leagues. And then finally, we're going to move over to custom ranks. What the custom rank does is it just allows us to move a player up or down in our own personal rankings. So we can see here we have consensus, PPR, half PPR, standard, and superflex. These are our projections over all of the platforms. It builds a consensus and then populates that consensus. Now, you cannot move a player up or down in all positions ranking because that would just muddy the waters. So when you want to move, if you want to move a player up or down, you have to go to a specific position. So if I really like Jalen Warren for some reason, I certainly like him more than RG Harvey. So I'm going to put him up one position. Do I like him more than Bashal? I'll keep him there for now. But if there's somebody else that I really like I like JCM. I really like Brooks. So you can see I've already moved him up 8 spots. Let's move him over Corum. Yeah, I like him right there. So when we go back to the draft board, what's going to happen is now these players are going to be populated higher in our own personal rankings on the available players pool. And even the AI suggestion or recommendation is going to realize that, oh, you like this player better. So they're going to give those players boosts when they're recommending players, which is a pretty cool feature. That is it for the Draft Decoder website. There should be more to come. We're going to build probably a start sit metric here in the future, but this is what we have for now. It's a very in-depth tool for drafting, and we hope you have a great time using it. And I hope it helps you dominate your league.